Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11, verses 29 to 32. Daniel 11. This is what it says, King James Version. At the time appointed, he shall return and come toward the south. But it shall not be as the former or as the latter. For the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that makes desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people who do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. We began this last week, and we're going to use the same subject, miracles in waiting. Part 2. We started by sharing and reminding us about the miracle on the Hudson. And we concluded that the name Miracle on the Hudson, as I said, I took offense with it because it implied that the miracle was in the water when in fact the miracle was in the pilot. Because if any of us were at the helm of the wheel of that aircraft, I don't think it would have landed as smoothly as it did under the command of Captain Sully Sullenberger. But because his training and his hours of flight time and all of the emergency training that he received over the years of being a pilot met with the situation when both his engines went out. And all that he knew and all that he was as a pilot kicked into gear, and he thought within himself, what's the closest place I can make it to a runway? And he used the Hudson River. And we surmised from that point that the same way the miracle on the Hudson was really the miracle in the pilot, so it is that God in each and every one of our lives is seeking to do miracles. God is looking to use us in the midst of our circumstances and situations that we might show forth the power of God. You see, Daniel had been fasting for 3 weeks, waiting for God to give him revelation about a vision that he had had. And in chapter 11, this vision begins to be unfolded. And by the time we get to verse 21, they begin to talk about this desolation and this person, this one who was going to come and wreak havoc on the children of God. Now, when folk read this, some read it with an end time view, saying that this is going to take place when it's all said and done, when Jesus returns. But most scholars look at it not from an end time place necessarily, but it look at it from an immediate future event. You see, right now, Israel was still under Persian rule and authority. And though they suffered some abuse under that rule, it was still under the Persian hand that many were sent back to rebuild Jerusalem. But when one by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes became the king, some things changed. And God was getting Daniel to write down the vision and interpretation so that when Israel met with this evil force, they will know that God had already spoke it and had already shown them what it is they need to do. During the time when this leader came forth, there was a silencing of the voices of prophecy. There were no prophets to minister to the people, so they had to rely on the prophecy of the most recent past. When this gentleman came to power, he is described as being a vile individual. He tricked his brother and his nephew out of the kingdom and then said he was ruling on their behalf. He was a slick talker, such that when he would go out and conquer a land, he would come back and begin to share the wealth with the people. He used that as a ploy to get them on his side. He gave them a little bit of the jewels that they got and a little of the livestock that they got. And so the people were, yay! He really gonna take care of us. But somebody said, after what? You see, he was only using this to get them to trust him. And after a while, the true nature of who he really is came out. And there was a time when he went out and he was able to conquer some parts of Egypt. But in the meantime, Egypt made a pact with Rome. And so when he came back to conquer Egypt again, he got conquered. And so as he headed back home, I know I'm skipping over history, but I just want to give you a little touch here and there so we can get to the place of where we are in the text. As he returned back to where his homeland was, he had to pass Jerusalem. And because he was angry that he had just lost against the joint forces of Egypt and Rome, he decided to take it out on the Israelites. You see, y'all don't know nothing about that. When somebody is willing to take out their fury on you, you ain't had nothing to do with the situation. They angry at somebody else about something else. You weren't even there. You don't know anything about it, but yet and still, you are the one who becomes the victim of all of their fury. And the word said that when he went in to overtake Jerusalem, there were those who were already half-hearted with the faith. And those who were half-hearted with their faith were easily swayed by his smooth talking. And those who held firm to their belief, they began to suffer great persecution. If you have a Bible that is called a Bible with an apocrypha, you'll be able to read about the Maccabees. And this happened during the time of the Maccabees as they recorded history as it was happening. And they began to share in their text about some of the things he did to the Israelites. They were minding their own business, doing what God called them to do. And all of a sudden, someone that's bigger and more powerful, who had an organized army, came in and took over their country. And the word tells us in the Maccabees that some of them suffered such great atrocities as being skinned alive. Some of them were scalped, and hands and legs and feet cut off, tongue pulled out, chopped off, all because they refused to follow his way. One of the biggest ways that he tried to get them to follow after him was that he would have someone cram pork into their mouth. In the Maccabees, the word they use is swine. And you know that the Jews would have nothing to do with swine meat. And so if they spit it out, you cut off the tongue. I'm just telling you the kind of real persecution that the Israelites were under. And God knew it was coming. And so God uses Daniel to interpret the vision so that the people would have something to hold on to. They'll be able to say, God, I know it's you. I know that you are keeping me and protecting me in the midst of this vile situation and these most egregious circumstances. And as a result, you have Daniel writing verse 32. With flattery, he will corrupt those who have violated the covenant, those who had turned their back on God, those who were tired of obeying the commands, those who were waiting on the Messiah and they got tired of waiting because God was taking too long to step into their situation. Now, am I talking to anybody in here? You've been waiting a long time for God to move on your behalf. Don't give up. Don't let go. God is still working on your behalf, and he corrupted those who had violated the covenant. King James said, but the people, the NIV says, but the people who know their God will firmly resist. King James said, but the people that know their God shall be strong and do exploits. The thing about this word exploits is that it's not defined as it is used in this text at this point. And so those who preach it and teach it have to garner what they think it means based on all the circumstances surrounding it. But I believe the reason why we are miracles in waiting is because God expects us to do exploits when we find ourselves in circumstances we don't think we can handle. First thing I want us to see in this text is that we are equipped to do exploits. Me and you and I, we're equipped to do exploits. What are exploits? It's whatever you need to do to engage the gifts of God and the vision of God in order to overcome a present circumstance. You see, the people that know their God. The people that know their God. You see, to be equipped is to be furnished or provided with whatever is needed for use or for a great undertaking. It is the intellectual or emotional resource used in that venture. It means to prepare. And we have to understand not just a part, our being equipped is rooted into our knowing God. You see, for the Hebrews, to know God wasn't just an intellectual exercise. It was an intimate heart connection. When you say that I know you, it was about intimacy. And it meant more than having knowledge of you. It meant that we were so entwined together that I can think your thoughts and I can speak your words. God said it in Psalm 139. God. In order for us to perform the exploits that God has in our hands, when we get in tough and tight situations, we must be equipped. And the way we're equipped is to know God and to know His Word and to know He won't forsake you, to know He won't leave you, to know He's in it with you, to know He's covering you. You gotta be equipped. That when you step into circumstances that are so above you and so beyond you and so much bigger than you and appear to be so much more powerful than you, you can't shrink and give up or turn around. You got to stand like David and say, who is this uncircumcised being defying my God? The God that I know has protected me from a lion and a bear, and surely He's gonna keep me from this uncircumcised Philistine. You gotta know God. And the way we know God is to allow ourselves to have experiences with God. And with each experiences we grow. And we take a step. And we grow. And we take another step. And we grow. God has already equipped us for what's in our future. We don't have to run. We don't have to hide. We need to stand boldly in the face of every circumstance. We're not the only ones who've been equipped. Abraham was equipped. He had a promise. Moses was equipped. He had a staff. David was equipped. He had a slingshot. Daniel was equipped. He had his prayers. Samson was equipped. He had long hair. The disciples were equipped. They had Jesus. And you and I, we are equipped because we have all of the above. We have not only the experiences of all of those who are in the Bible who have engaged God, but we have our experiences. We have the experiences of our grandmother and our grandfathers and our mamas who had to pray for the next meal. And God showed up out of nowhere. You gotta know who God is. You gotta be equipped to do exploits. Second, I believe that God has empowered us to do exploits. For the people that know their God, King James Version, shall be strong. We are empowered to do exploits. Our equipping is through our knowledge, our intimacy, our knowing God, not on a surface level, but at an intimate place. But our power is predicated upon us receiving the knowledge, the wisdom, and the equipping. We shall be strong. You see, you can't be strong if you don't know what God has said. How can you stand in God's power if you see yourself as a weakling? How can you fight the powers that be if you don't think your vote counts? Well, they don't care about us anyway, and it don't matter. That's how we got 45. So many of us stayed home and didn't think that the power of the vote mattered. But when God gives you power, you gotta use your power. When God gives us power, we gotta be willing to stand on that power. You see, it's not just having the strength, but it's understanding that you have the authority to act. And you see, strength without authority or authority without strength comes to naught. Because in neither case will you do anything about what's in front of you. You won't do anything about your circumstance. But when you know that God has not only equipped you with knowledge and understanding, but he has given you his strength and his authority. God doesn't want us to be overtaken by the enemy. That's why he's given us strength. Why would he say resist the devil and he would flee from you if it really wouldn't happen? Why would he warn us that the devil is crouching by the door just waiting for a slip-up so he can make his way in? If it wasn't true. But God has given us the power to be more than conquerors, to be overcomers of every circumstance and situation that comes our way. We are miracles in waiting. And with the right circumstance, God is going to work a miracle in your life. You just need the right amount of pressure, the right amount of issue, the right amount of hurt, the right amount of guilt, the right amount of shame. And it might hurt for a little while, but God will give you everything you need to endure. Let me tell you what that means for us. As I was studying this, it sent me to a story in the Maccabees. And it was a story of 7 brothers and a mother who were all killed in the same day for refusing to eat swine. And the Bible said that they took the oldest son first, and they brought him forward, and they told him to eat the swine, and he refused, so they cut his tongue out. And in fact, he began to tell the king, you might think you have authority over me, you might have earthly authority, but my God. And he just began to bless the Lord. And they cut out his tongue, cut off his hands, and cut off his feet, hoping that would deter the other 6 and the mom from doing as he did. But as I read on, I got enthralled by it, because one by one, as they refused to do what this vile king wanted them to do, he did the same thing. In fact, he told them to go and get the big pans and heat them. I'm assuming these were big bowls like the ones now they use for cremation. Go get the big pans, and they put it on fire. And after they cut off the hands and the feet and cut out his tongue, while he was still living, they tossed him into this hot skillet. Now, anybody ever fried chicken, fried fish, and you get the pot hot before you put the grease in there? And when you pull the grease, what happens? Sizzles and pops. And can you imagine being thrown alive into a hot pan to be fried to death? But one by one, and as each one of them came, as they watched the others being martyred, each one of them still stood on their faith and told him, you might have the authority now, and maybe God is allowing this for some sin I've committed, but I won't eat the swine. I'm going to stand on my faith, because they believed that God had given them the power to do exploits, that God had given them the power to endure. And when it got down to the mama and the baby boy, it said that the mama just presented herself. She was ready to go. She was proud to be martyred for God. But then he looked at the baby boy, and he began to start trying to convince the baby boy, like, just go ahead and eat a little piece. If you just eat a little piece, I'll give you riches. I will make you envious of by others, and I will bless you so that other folk will be jealous. Just eat a little bit. And he told the mother, why don't you talk to your boy? You see, the king, after watching 6 of them get cut up and thrown in the pan alive, he couldn't take it himself. He didn't want to do it no more. And he tried to get them to just eat a piece so that he could stand on his word with power. But they refused. They stood in defiance and said, we're going to stand on our faith. How many of us would be so empowered to stand for God? 7 brothers and a mama, all modeled. But they were modeled because they believed that God gave them the power to endure whatever the persecution was that came their way. See, we got to know that we are equipped and empowered to do exploits. That's why God has employed us for exploits. He said, and you shall do exploits. But didn't define the word in that particular place. And I believe that God didn't define the word because he didn't want us to get stuck in the woods. But rather, he just wanted to make sure that we did something. We are not called to get stuck in the what. God just wants to make sure that we move in some kind of way. And whatever gift God has placed in you, whatever power God has rendered to your hand, whatever authority God has so blessed you with, he's saying use that to perform miracles in your world so that people that don't know me, their lives will be changed. And what Archelaus wanted the Israelites to do was to give in, give up, throw in the towel, fold over, and say, I can't take it. I'll eat your swine. I can't take it. I'll worship your God. I can't take it no more. I'll denounce the one and true living God. We don't have that kind of persecution today. But are you willing to stand in the face of opposition, in the face of persecution, in the face of your enemy, and refuse to compromise your values in God? You see, God often sends his children into the impossible. He'll send us into impossible situations. Because what he wants us to know is that the power of miracles ain't in us. It's in the God that's in us. The power of miracles is because of God, the part of God that lives in us, the Holy Ghost, that we allow to move and breathe and have its being in our lives. You see, sometimes we don't take God at his word and step in faith to do exploits because we're too concerned about the outcome. Well, what if I do this and it don't work? What if I do that and God don't change the situation? Our job is obedience. Outcomes belongs to God. And I think I've shared this with you all before, but there was, at my last church, there was a young man in his 20s, and he was in jail in New York, in the upper state of New York, in a part of the state where there weren't many minorities. The area where he was known for being prejudiced against African Americans. And he had a hearing that was coming up. But there was someone who had the police had gotten someone who said, yeah, he did do it. I saw him. He did sell those drugs. Yep, and I'm a witness against him. And so it seemed like an ironclad case. It was classic. And this young lady comes to church
one Sunday morning, and she says to me, she begins to tell me the story, and I'm lamenting with her, and it was her nephew, and I said, okay, well, and then she goes, and my sister said that God showed her in a dream that you're supposed to pray for him. I said, huh? It was almost like, I can't do that. I can't, I don't have that kind of power. This is what I'm thinking. I'm having a conversation with myself. And I said to her, okay, we'll pray for him today. But I was having a conversation with myself because my thoughts was, God, what if I pray and nothing happens? What if I pray and he's convicted? What if I pray and he gets more time? What if I pray and everything turns to white? And at the moment of prayer, I called for all the young people, all the young men. I called for all the young men to come forward and explain the situation. And we prayed that God would move. We prayed that God would intervene. Not because I thought I had the power, but because I believed that if God told her to have me to pray, that God was up to something. And true to form, before we got back to church the next Sunday, the young man was home. Freed. All charges dropped. All charges dropped. What God is saying to us, do something. If your gift is prayer, pray. If your gift is exhortation, exhort. If your gift is meditation, meditate. If your gift is singing a song, then sing a song. Whatever your gift is in the Lord, you do something and leave the outcomes to God, because God is up to something. You will watch God perform miracles. He's still performing miracles today. We knew that in what we shared about Mama Mary last week. What Miss Sheila shared with us a few months ago about being told with a certainty you have cancer, only to have the great physician move on your behalf. God is still performing miracles. Let us stand. We must avail ourselves to be used by God.